Hello, welcome to the Church of Calisthenics podcast. I am Paul. Thanks for joining me today. This is Sunday. We're on day 28 of the 35-day challenge. I've decided to end it at 35 days, give us 5 whole weeks, showing us what we can do. We're at the end of week 4. This podcast is just a weekly roundup, just trying to talk about something that's important to me. Today, I just decided to talk about addiction, and specifically my addiction. Last week, I talked about replacements and how important replacements are to creating change in your life, creating differences that you didn't have previously. I don't know where I'm going with this right now, but just stay with me. The replacements episode last week was meant to really focus on really taking action to get rid of things out of your life. Ultimately, you're always going to be an addict. You're always going to be addicted to something. For me, an important part of my addiction is having important replacements in place. Things that are going to make me happier, things that are going to make me more successful. Like I mentioned last week, 2 of those things now are reading and honestly just memorization. Just being able to soak in and memorize things. I can't do those things high. So I like to read every day. I like to do some type of learning or memorization exercise, whether it be obviously learning about the thing I'm reading or maybe video games. Video games are also a nice way of just kind of like really digging in and seeing where your brain can memorize and not memorize. All that to say, those are 2 big replacements for me so that I don't feel this need to partake in getting high and smoking weed. Maybe for you, it's drinking alcohol. Maybe it's prescription pills. Maybe it's weed just like me. I'm hoping I'm helping somebody that has a weed problem. That's ultimately all I really started this passion with, is just to help people with weed addiction. Obviously, it applies to all addiction. I've been addicted to most of the common things that are available to us: alcohol, nicotine, anything. But luckily, I don't have a very connected relationship or addictive relationship with alcohol and nicotine. With weed and THC, I do. And part of that is that I just have come to the fact that I've felt more like myself through the years on it than without it. That's been a more disturbing topic for me to get into, and my addiction is understanding that I am not me when I'm on that drug as much as I want to be. But obviously, we all tell ourselves some crazy story to keep our addiction going, to keep the story going, to keep it all afloat. At the end of the day, I kind of had to just take a step back and realize is that I was addicted to weed and that I needed to be able to separate from it for multiple days at a time. At any point I couldn't separate from it, I realized I would have to give it up completely. Luckily, my moderation challenge going on day 28 has been going really well. This week, I did give myself an extra day of smoking. So I usually would only give myself Friday night and Saturday night to smoke. This week, I gave myself Thursday night as well. Just had a tough week. Did a lot. Focused on still doing the videos. Did all the videos successfully. Did a lot at home, just as far as getting the house cleaned up, life in general, just trying to move on with life and get better at life. And yeah, so I gave myself an extra day. So I gave myself 3 nights this week instead of just the 2. Was I proud of it? Yeah, honestly, I was. I was happy to have an extra night and still have this control on Sunday. Obviously, I woke up a little bit hungover or with experienced withdrawals on this Sunday morning, but well, now we're into Sunday afternoon. But yeah, through the day, did all my stuff, yoga, did the sauna. I created and focused on those replacements that helped me get through my addiction. First one being yoga. It's just a greater purpose to focus on your mind, body, and soul. That's a pretty easy one to be addicted to. I just try to do that every Sunday at the minimum, preferably 2 days a week. So I try to do my own personal stretching on Saturday, which is the video I do with y'all, but that's not really intensive yoga. It's more just basic stretching. And the whole point of that video is just to give yourself 30 minutes on Saturday to show some love to yourself. You put a lot of effort in during the week. If you're doing all 5 of my videos, that's over 2.5 hours of exercising a week. So we're going to create a lot of tension, a lot of buildup on that body. Got to stretch it out multiple days of the weekend. But yeah, and then the second thing that I like to use to help me replace weed and my addiction is the sauna. The sauna is one of the few things I've ever been able to do that really gets close to that euphoria, that feeling of that dopamine release that I would get with weed. I've only been able to really replace it with the sauna. So if you can get your hands on anything like a sauna, a steam room, anything to get that heart rate going, to get your body sweating, to get your body drinking water, you're going to feel incredible. And that's why I'm so addicted to the sauna now. It just makes me drink a bunch of water that I traditionally wouldn't drink. And by drinking a bunch of water, I'm filtering my system more. I'm staying healthier just by the fact that there's more water flowing through me. Kind of a crazy realization for me to come to, but it's also been the most rewarding, knowing that I can always go to a sauna and I'm going to feel better when I get out of it. I swear I've gone over probably 300 times now, if not 400 times, and I still haven't had a time where I didn't feel better when I left. I would say the same thing with the calisthenic workouts. That's why the Church of Calisthenics is so important to me. It's the biggest replacement for me is finding that ultimate purpose and drive in my life. I can do these calisthenics videos every week, and no matter how challenging or how easy my life is, these videos are always going to be that core challenge. It's always going to be that part of me that is wanting to get better, wanting to grow. My experience over these past 4 weeks has even been similar to someone experiencing these classes for the first time. Just dealing with the soreness, dealing with the movements that are part of the classes and those soreness that you create. I've been noticing my left hamstring is super tight from how I sequence some of my moves and stuff. So I have to then kind of step back and look at the workouts and figure out how am I going to make these better for next week? How am I going to create a better exercise so people can come back week after week? All that to say, I just wanted to give y'all another just deep dive into my addiction and what it means to me. All that to say, be kind to yourself. The hardest part about addiction is admitting that you do have a problem, and then wanting to deal with it. Because I think I was very aware of my problem for the past decade and just was happy with how my life was going, how dysfunctional I was. And I've been able to make a lot of my successes while being addicted, but I've realized that this next phase of my life, this next version of myself, it can't be 100% addicted. And that's where we've practiced moderation. So I'm really proud of you for doing these 28 days so far. Keep your moderation journey going. Whatever it takes to get the drugs away from you, do it. I have the benefit of having a significant other that will take them away from me for those periods of time that I don't want them or I need that restriction, and giving them back to me when I do allow myself to partake in them. So if you have that privilege, please take advantage of that privilege. If you don't, get them out of your house until you know you can do them safely. Get them away from you. If you don't have anybody that can help you hold yourself accountable, take those extra steps to put barriers between you and your addictions. That's all I can really say. That's all I really do on a personal level. This weekend, I still had a lot of fun. Went and got cookies, ice cream, everything under the board. If you want motivation alone to stop doing certain bad things, if they make your body feel bad, just stop. And that's one of the things with sugar and ice cream specifically, and all types of heavy dairy and stuff. I love them and I'll go back to them every weekend, but they'll usually immediately make me have stomach problems and just fart all weekend and kind of have, obviously some trouble going to the restroom. And those are such easy reinforcements to go back to my moderation for those things on Sunday. But weed's a little bit different because it creates this imbalance and this, psychological addiction that's a lot harder to push myself away from when it comes to Sunday. Not saying that food is any easier to get rid of or avoid, but if you can, acknowledge what things are doing to your life, acknowledge how they make you feel. This is something that's been really tough for me. Journal as much as you can about your experiences. Having evidence, having something to reflect on when you're in the moment of doing something you're not proud of maybe, or something that you wish you would do less of. I think it's really important to have that awareness and see it written out, what it makes you feel like. And for me, it's been just a healthy part with weed, just because anytime I do get high and it doesn't feel good, I write about it and try to just have a reflection of why this moment is not as good as it should be. And a lot of it too is just, you're not prioritizing your life correctly. And ultimately when you prioritize your vice or your drugs, it's inconvenience or a misstep in your life. So I would say just focus on what you can do to eliminate those things from your life, creating barriers. And then secondly, the replacement, just like I was talking about last week. Find something that's going to make your life better. Find something that you can focus on more to make you feel like you have a bigger purpose. Like I said, for me, that's the yoga. That's an easy one to make me understand there's a bigger purpose beyond myself. Reading, being able to use my imagination, even gaming. Gaming is kind of similar to reading in that I can game high, but I'm not going to be able to absorb and really appreciate the art I'm taking in. And that's easy with reading because you need that imagination, that visualization when you read. But I say the same goes to gaming. It comes back to just inherent things about life that we all have to do. Be grateful. I'll leave you with this. One of my favorite songs came into my head today by Cheryl Crow, "Soak Up the Sun." I'm trying to remember the line that she says, basically saying, don't always... Sorry, give me a second. It's about not liking what you have. Sorry, other way around. It's about liking what you have, not getting what you want. And that's the hardest thing for me to understand about life, is being able to be grateful for what I have, and what I already have in my possession, and understanding how important it is to me, and not having this constant mourning for what you want, your desire. Ultimately, that's just human. You're always going to want that desire, but take it from Cheryl Crow. Appreciate what you have. Be grateful. Take a moment just to write down things you're grateful for, and that'll usually lead you into a more positive um, centerment of yourself. That's not a word at all. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really botching the end of this. Um, just focus on loving yourself. Write down things you're grateful for. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We're on the last week of the 5-week challenge, day 28. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to do some cardio with you, destroying those calves. It's going to be really fun. We're going to have so much fun. It's going to be great. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow.